something happened in Boston that no one inside that stadium was prepared for. A goal was scored, a nation roared, and then in the space of a few unbearable minutes, that joy was taken away. Germany believed they had just won their place in football history. Instead, they were about to suffer one of the most stunning collapses the World Cup has ever witnessed. And what the video review revealed in those tense moments would split pundits, players, and millions of fans around the world. This is the story of the night Germany's World Cup dream was overturned by a whistle few saw coming. To understand why this moment matters so deeply, you have to understand what Germany represents in this tournament. 4 world titles, a footballing identity built on discipline, resilience, and an almost unshakable belief in their own ability to win when it matters most. For decades, Germany has been the team other nations feared in elimination football, the team that finds a way, the team that does not lose its nerve. And for a long time on this night, that reputation held strong. The match against Paraguay was supposed to be a formality, a football giant against a nation appearing in a position like this for the first time in generations. But football has a way of rewriting the script when no one expects it. Paraguay struck first. In the 42nd minute, Julio Enciso rose above the German defense and headed his side into the lead. For a moment, the stadium fell into stunned silence. The underdog was ahead, but Germany are not a team that crumbles easily. Just 12 minutes into the second half, Kai Havertz produced the equalizer, meeting a dangerous ball from Florian Wirtz to send the German bench into celebration. 1-1, game on, and that was only the beginning. As the minutes ticked away in normal time, neither side could find a winner. The tension inside the stadium grew heavier with every passing chance. Extra time was coming, and extra time, as football history has shown again and again, has a way of changing destinies forever. What happened next would become the most talked about moment of the entire tournament. In the 112th minute of extra time, Germany thought they had done it. A corner swung in. Jonathan Tah rose highest, his header crashing into the net. Players sprinted toward the corner flag, staff leapt from the bench. For a few seconds, it felt like Germany's path forward had just been secured. But then the referee's hand went up toward his ear, a signal that would change everything. The video assistant referee was reviewing the goal, and as fans around the world held their breath, the question became unavoidable. Had Germany really scored, or was something about to be taken away? The review centered on a single moment just before the ball crossed the line. Germany defender Waldemar Anton had positioned himself in front of Paraguay's goalkeeper Orlando Gil as the corner came in. The contact between the two of them, brief as it was, became the center of the entire controversy. Referee Jalal Jeed walked to the pitchside monitor. The stadium watched in near silence as he reviewed the footage from multiple angles, and when he made his final signal, it was Germany's celebration that was wiped away. The goal was disallowed for a foul on the goalkeeper. Germany's players stood in disbelief. What had felt like a defining moment in their tournament had been erased in an instant. But while millions of fans focused on the disallowed goal itself, another story was quietly building behind the scenes. The question of whether the decision was even correct. Almost immediately, football analysts began dissecting the replay frame by frame. Former goalkeeper Peter Schmeichel weighed in, suggesting the review had gone against Germany unfairly. Even more striking were the comments from former England captain Alan Shearer, who argued the goalkeeper reaction to the contact appeared exaggerated, calling the decision a poor one given the physical nature of the sport. Germany's own head coach Julian Nagelsmann did not hold back his frustration either, insisting that what happened did not deserve to be treated as a genuine foul at all. For a team that has built its identity on composure under pressure, this was a different kind of test, not a test of skill or tactics, but a test of how a nation responds when the result is no longer fully in their own hands. And the tension was only just beginning to build. With the goal wiped from the record, the score remained level. Extra time wore on. Chances came and went. Germany pressed forward, searching for another opportunity to reclaim the lead they believed should already have been theirs. But football, at its cruelest, does not always offer second chances at the same moment twice. The match would not be decided in open play. It would be decided from 12 yards under the brightest lights of the tournament, with an entire nation's hopes resting on a single kick. This is where the human side of football reveals itself most powerfully. Penalty shootouts are not just tests of technique. They are tests of nerve, of memory, of the weight that history places on a player's shoulders the moment the ball is placed on the spot. For Germany, that history had always favored them. 6 wins in 7 major tournament shootouts, 6 consecutive shootout victories since a painful defeat to Czechoslovakia back in 1976. Germany had never lost a World Cup shootout, not once, not in their entire history. That record was about to be broken. Paraguay goalkeeper Orlando Gil became the unlikely centerpiece of the night as Germany's players stepped forward one by one. Gil seemed to anticipate their intentions, diving the right way time and again. He would later describe how meticulously his team had studied every detail of every German penalty taker, a preparation that paid off when it mattered most. Germany missed twice, Paraguay missed only once, and in the most painful twist of all, it was Jonathan Tah, the very player whose disallowed header had defined the night, who stepped up and sent his penalty over the crossbar. Moments later, Paraguay's José Canal stepped forward and calmly finished the job. The South American underdogs had done what felt almost impossible. They had eliminated the 4-time world champions from the World Cup. The stadium exploded. Paraguayan players collapsed to the turf in tears, embracing one another in disbelief at what they had just achieved. For a footballing nation that had never experienced a moment of this magnitude on this stage, it was something close to a miracle. And for Germany, it was the end of a journey that had been derailed not by a lack of fight, but by a single fiercely debated decision that may never be fully resolved in the eyes of their fans. Because here lies the deeper question this story leaves behind. Was justice truly served on that pitch, or did one contentious call alter the entire course of football history for an entire generation of German players? It is a question that will likely never have a universally accepted answer. Football has always lived in these grey areas, these split-second moments where technology meets human judgment, where a millimetre or a half-second of contact can determine which nation continues chasing a trophy and which one goes home. What makes this moment so significant is not simply who won or lost. It is what the moment represents about the modern game itself. Video review was introduced to remove controversy, to bring clarity to football's most pivotal moments. And yet, here in one of the biggest matches of the tournament, it became the very source of the controversy it was designed to prevent. For older fans who remember football before the introduction of video technology, this moment carries an extra layer of meaning. It is a reminder that no matter how advanced the tools become, the human element of the game, the emotion, the unpredictability, the heartbreak can never truly be removed. Germany now faces an uncomfortable reckoning, questions about their coaching future, about whether changes are needed after a tournament exit that will be remembered for years. Ingelsmann himself addressed his future following the defeat, acknowledging that difficult conversations now lie ahead for German football. But for Paraguay, the story is only just beginning. A nation that has waited generations for a moment like this now moves forward into the next round, carrying with them belief, momentum, and the kind of self-confidence that only comes from overcoming football royalty on the biggest stage in the world. Their reward is a meeting with the winner of France and Sweden, a contest that could send them back to the very stadium where they made history, this time for a place in the quarter-finals. For Germany, there will be reflection. There will be debate that continues long after this tournament ends, and there will be the lingering question of what might have been had that header in the 112th minute been allowed to stand. Football has a way of reminding us again and again that destiny in this sport is rarely decided by the better team alone. Sometimes it is decided by a single fiercely contested moment, one that will be replayed, debated, and remembered for years to come. The road to the 2026 World Cup has already produced one of its most unforgettable storylines. And as the tournament moves forward, one thing is certain: the conversation around this moment is far from over. Perhaps the biggest surprise of this World Cup is still yet to